A nightmare I'm living in. You call me crazy, call me drunk, and I said, I know well, I can see right through.
What up, gang? Welcome to Second Story. I'm Josh Zabalski, joined by my good colleague, Corey Leckie. Corey, what's up, buddy?
Are we not friends anymore, Josh?
We're getting close. We're getting close. Just 50 some odd more episodes, and we'll be right there. Actually, I don't even think it's that many. 48, maybe?
And then we'll be
I have no idea. Yeah, we'll be friends on the 100th episode. Only for the 100th, though.
Okay.
Only for that one episode. That 1 hour it'll be a nice time for us.
Sweet. Well, in the meantime, we'll just remain colleagues.
That's what I tell people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the truth, we've done an episode about this, but the truth is that men don't really have friends.
That's
right.
Yeah.
We debunked that myth that men have friends in the episode.
That's true. Yeah. Very lonely. There's just millions of lonely men out there.
Well, there are. They're called incels. But there's also men who are not incels who are probably lonely too. Well, while we're on the topic of men, somebody sent me a video the other day, and I thought it was... I mean, I'll be honest, I watched 5 minutes of it, but I thought it was very interesting, the first 5 minutes, because Chris Williamson was in it, and I like him. But the video was titled, Why Young Men Are Falling Even Further Behind.
Mm.
And, you know, I think that there are a lot of reasons why this exists. I'm bringing my own bias to this, as I'm sure you are. We were once young men, and we kind of know why we fell behind. But I thought it would be kind of cool to just go through this video and maybe react to it, what we've sort of experienced, what we kind of see, and ultimately see if we agree with it. I don't know if we'll get through all of it because it's like a 24-minute video, but we'll give it a shot and react to what's in there.
All right, hit it.
Hit what? Share. Yeah.
Hit play.
Hold on, I have to share the screen first.
Hit play on the tape.
There we go. That's my screen.
How come it's so small? There we go.
You have to blow it up. See? We've never done this before, in case you couldn't tell. So this is going to be a first for Second Story. Reaction videos. Here we go.
Picture this. A young adult man, out of shape, living in his mother's basement, eating junk food, playing video games, and has a bottom-of-the-barrel job. For a long time, this has been comic relief in popular culture. What self-respecting 30-year-old would have such a life? He's obviously a loser who doesn't try in life, so we can laugh at this character to make ourselves feel better. 25 years ago, this situation was seen as comic relief, and I'm not just saying that. This clip from the year 2000 is from a show called Get a Life, and it features the main character, Chris Peterson.
Let me just say this as precisely as I possibly can. Okay. You're 30 years old. You still live with your parents. You're losing your hair. And you're stupid. Yeah, you know, I think that just about covers it.
God,
I'm going to stop it there.
They're just describing me to a T.
Yeah.
Except
that
for the
show
living,
was based on the life. Yeah, Corey Leckie.
Except for the living with the parents. I did move out when I was 18.
So did I. I did as well. I moved out when I was 18 until I was 28. And I moved back in with my mother. Just right off the hop, it brings back a lot of shows that we kind of grew up watching where men were always the imbecile. Even the ones that were the father figures in the show, they were always these kind of dumb, smarmy, for lack of a better term, assholes. In just about every show that we watched. It was very rare. It's kind of funny. The shows with the black fathers, the fathers were always like successful. You think of Fresh Prince, successful lawyer, eventually becomes a judge. Philip Banks.
Yeah.
Carl Winslow in Family Matters, police officer, respected member of the community. Where's some Bill Cosby? Had to stop myself. But he was wasn't he a doctor on the show?
Yeah,
Dr. Huxtable?
Doctor, a psychologist maybe, but probably a doctor, like medical.
Yeah,
doctor.
he was prescribing a lot of meds to people at the time, both on and off screen.
Makes more sense that he's a medical doctor, yeah.
It would, yeah. But like I never really thought about that till right now, but that is the way it was. They were all very, they had these very professional, which I think was good. Like, it's a good descriptor for them. And then, then you go over to the Al Bundys, who was a shitty women's shoe salesman and a slob, and just said smart ass things. And then you had like Homer Simpson, obviously.
Yeah. Family Guy.
You could, Peter Griffin. Yeah, you could go on down the list, but like that was always they were the comic relief in a lot of these cases, just these dummies.
Now, I think that changed though, like in the early 90s, because I feel like in the 80s there was a lot of competent men and successful men in the TV shows.
For sure, yeah. And the shows that I just described all, I believe, started in the late 80s, like even going to like having Philip Banks, Carl Winslow, Bill Cosby's character. I believe all those shows started in the late 80s, or it might have even been the early 90s. But even go back to Full House, right? Full House started in the early 90s, and Bob Saget was like a TV host. Yeah. And Jesse and Joey were both radio hosts, which was like at the time a very distinguished job. Yeah. That's been sort of removed from society, but nevertheless. But yeah, it was just a very different time. And then as you got into the mid to late 90s, that all just flipped. Yeah. It's not to say that that's the reason that, men are falling behind, but it's interesting that they kind of open with that. And they're right in the video. Like, that did become a thing 30 years ago. That's right in the mid 90s, 1995.
Loser men in the popular culture. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm interested to see where this goes now. I only watched like a few minutes past this.
Now, this scene doesn't exactly ring the same in the mid-2020s. It's fairly common today to have men in their late 20s and early 30s living at home. In fact, in the US, 55% of 18 to 30-year-old men still live at home. In Australia, that number's around 54%. Something that people joked about in movies or on TV 25 years ago is basically the norm today for men. Women are doing better in this department, with less of them living at home, but also they're doing better in education. In recent years, this issue has taken the limelight, and it's got a lot of people asking, why are young men falling behind?
It wasn't so long ago that men enjoyed a clear advantage in American society. But these days, a different story is emerging. Men and boys falling behind.
Boys are not simply falling behind relative to girls, but they're falling behind in absolute terms from prior generations of boys.
If a group is falling behind in society, we don't tell them to pick themselves up by their bootstraps. We spend billions of money in taxpayer-funded charities and think tanks to try and work out what's going on and to try and bring them along for the ride. That's not happening with men.
They don't have a state.
It's an interesting point from Chris Williamson.
Yeah. I thought that was a crazy stat, too. Like, more than half of men in America are in their 30s.
55%.
Are living
It's 18 to 30. 18 to 30.
Oh, okay. 18 to 30. But still, more than half. Like, both of us moved out when we were 18.
Yes.
And struggled and had to, do rent and all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, to think, like...
the fuck does that mean?
Pay rent, fuck off. But yeah, like 55% of 18 to 30-year-old males living at home
in America. Yeah, 54% in Australia. I'd be curious the Canadian number, but I'm sure it's not far off from that.
It's probably similar to the America one. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any guys I know that are in that age bracket off the top of my head. Okay, I know 2, and they're both still living at home. 3 living at home.
Wow.
Do I know any or not?
So you were talking about Chris Williamson's point there.
Yes, so Chris Williamson's point where he's saying, like, we give taxpayer money whenever a certain group's falling behind, and that's historically been accurate.
Yeah.
Right? That's what we always do. Like, this group is falling behind. They're not keeping up. We're going to give, different subsidies. We're going to create programs for them. We're going to do all these things.
Mm-hmm. But
none of that shit's happening now.
With men, what do you think it is? Like, because we've been told so long that we're running everything, running the businesses, running the country, running all this stuff, that we don't deserve that. We need to be knocked down a level. Is that the idea?
I honestly don't know. I don't have a narrative when it comes to that. I really don't know what it is. I think like what he's describing is political will. Like Chris Williamson's talking about there was the political will to do all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There was political will to give welfare to people who don't have jobs and or can't work. There was political will to give money to certain programs for certain minorities.
Yeah.
Also, women's groups, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There is not the political will to do it for men. And that's just a fact. That's just right now the culture and the political will is still very opposed to men. And Chris Williamson's gotten a lot of shit for saying that in not when he's on Rogan, but when he's on his own show. He gets a lot of shit for saying that. Yeah. And we probably will too, because we have privilege that is not being shown in this video. And you know what? I will say that there are definitely parts of life and parts of the country where men do have privilege. And there are definitely parts where we do not. And I know what a take that's not black and white. It's kind of a gray area, but it's true.
Yeah. I've noticed as a business operator just how many different opportunities for funding, but then also like different groups to support women in business. Like, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I actually think it's a good thing, but there's not like they're actually like exclusionary groups. If you cannot be in this group unless you are a female business owner, which once again, like they're supporting each other. That's definitely a good thing. It's good to build that up, but you just don't see the same thing on the side of men. You don't see these like supports in place.
For sure. And you know who I blame for this, to be honest?
Men?
Yes, actually. I do blame men. 100%.
How come?
Well, because for one, they're like when I talk about the will, the political will specifically, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist, and like most of the people in politics are men.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know the exact figures on that, but they are, by and large, it's men, right?
Yeah.
It's certainly in the highest levels of office. President's a man. President's always been a man. Prime Minister's a man. Prime Minister has almost always been a man here in Canada. Premiers, quite a few of them historically been men, way more than women. Even now, like outside of Danielle Smith in Canada, I don't know all the premiers off by heart, but Ontario's Doug Ford, Saskatchewan's Scott Moe, Quebec, I forget the dude's name, but he's a dude, pretty sure. Yeah. But yeah, I do largely place this at the feet of men. Like it's a problem for men, and it's a problem that really men need to fix.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not advocating for going through the route that Chris Williamson's talking about, where you put government funding to it. I'm just talking about as a society, as a culture, men are not helping other men. Like we're just not.
Yeah, in fact, we probably tear each other down a little bit. Like, we definitely buy into that whole, like, oh, you're fine, just suck it up.
Yeah.
Attitude.
Oh, that 100%. Yeah.
Right? So if someone's going through something, you're just like, fuck, I've been through that too. Yeah, suck it up.
Pussy.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, don't be a bitch. Don't be a pussy, whatever. Like, yeah, you hear it all the time.
I just said that to you off air a few minutes ago. You're complaining, and I called you a pussy and said, suck it up.
Yeah. Yeah, we're certainly guilty of that too. Yeah. I don't know, but let's get further into the video and see what else comes
Stable
out.
job, a wife, a white picket fence, or little rugrats running around the house. They often try to follow their parents' way of life, but it just doesn't work. It seems somewhere along the way, they messed up. They think to themselves, I choked, I got lazy, but is it really their fault? Or is it a failing system?
Doesn't even pay for the premium.
Out of nowhere,
I'm a man under the age of 30.
Yeah.
Can't afford this shit.
Can't afford the premium.
Futuristic technology.
As it whisked me away, a sense of
My
calm
kids
washed
beg
over
me all the time to
The
get
new
the
Subaru Crosstrek, the true
get the paid
urban
version.
legend.
I can't wait to see the videos that you get targeted.
You are watching Cold Fusion TV.
But it's now clear that there are many boys and men who have fallen behind, and that we have to be able to think about gender inequality in both directions. One thing that makes that hard is that the changes have been so quick, so rapid, that it's hard to update our beliefs to match the new facts. It's a bit like the needles on a compass swinging around. Suddenly north is south and south is north. It's really quite disorienting. But it's clear that on some measures at least now men are lagging quite a way behind, not least on college campuses. That reflects the fact that boys are trailing girls throughout the education system. 2/3 of the top academic performers in high school, measured by GPA, are girls. And 2/3 of those at the bottom are boys. And it's not just in the US. If we look at the 20 most economically advanced countries in the world, there's on average a 13 percentage point gap in the share of young men and young women with a college degree, with young women much more likely to have a college degree. And in some nations, the gap is much bigger.
Just last year, in a Wall Street Journal article titled, "America's Young Men Are Falling Even Further Behind," journalist Rachel Wolf decided to follow a family of 6, the Morenos. All in all, a normal family. The thing was, while their only daughter recently graduated from business school and got engaged, her 3 brothers, well into adulthood, are still living with their parents in their childhood bedrooms. When the father was asked about the situation, he stated, quote, "Something is amiss here. We love them. We love having them around. But that's not how you build your life." End quote. When they asked one of the sons, Daniel, if he shared this concern, he said, quote, "I just felt so lost. Nothing is really stopping me. It's just myself standing in my own way." End quote. For Daniel, a lot of this had to do with COVID. A loss of connection with his friends led him to drop out of school and become aimless. A study in 2021 by the Survey Center on American Life found that only 26% of men reported having 6 or more close friends. In 1990, it was 55%. And in 2021, those who had 0 friends were 17%. In 1990, it was 3.4%. That's a 500% increase in men with 0 friends since 1990. Research also shows that women tend to invest more in maintaining their friendships than men do, so female friendship rates tend to be higher.
All right, let's talk about that. That's a lot right there.
Yeah.
Now, I'll just state the issue I have with the Morena family, bringing that up. That's one family, right? Yeah, 3 boys, 1 daughter. The daughter's doing well. The sons are not. Again, it's one family. So just going into this with that sort of context.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wonder, so when I was listening to the thing about the college, men not succeeding in college and all that, and the one guy blamed it on COVID. Like he was like, it was COVID, right? I often wonder, because we've been told, okay, you got to go through these steps and you got to go to college, and once you do that, then you get a job and you're successful, right? But if we have one little thing that gets in the way of that, now people are like, I failed, and they just like walk away from it now. Like it seems like people don't really, maybe it's just men in particular, but they don't really like go after it and take those failures as learnings and like continue to go after it. I don't know.
Yeah. The college thing, I kind of had a different take looking at it. I don't know necessarily that looking at the post-secondary numbers that that's really a massive issue. I mean, obviously it's a massive discrepancy, but to be honest with you, like most of the men I know should have never gone to college and did. And if you asked them, they'd say, yeah, I should have never done that. I took my prime energy years and spent them in a classroom learning history or geography when I should have been out working, like building skills, like physical skills, being able to do these things. But I spent them just sitting in a classroom getting shit-faced on the weekends.
It'd be cool to see the numbers there of like the decline in college for men, like the decline in success in college, and then an increase in entrepreneurship in men. Like I'd like to see if there's like a correlation there. Like I dropped out of college, but I started this business that's actually was a better option for me, and I'm getting more success doing that.
Yeah, or I went into a trade
or something.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, there might be something there. I don't think they get into it in the video, but again, I only watched 5 minutes of it, so maybe they do. We're at the point where I watch too, basically. So all this is going to be new to me after now.
I just wonder if there's like a positive trade-off to that, is what I'm saying. Like it's not all negative that men aren't successful in college. Maybe there's like,
I would agree. There's a possibility.
Yeah.
That there's a trade-off. I also think this just needs to be brought up, and I don't think this is any like super astute point, but men, at least like the men I grew up with, tend to be, I guess they would probably question more like what they're told, like question more authority than women would.
Mm-hmm.
Like women tend, just if we're going based on
just generalizing people, we're just generalizing.
Yep, just stereotyping and saving a bunch of time. Women tend to, I guess, respect authority more, and like if somebody's telling them like this is the path you should take, I think most like on average they're probably more likely to, whereas men maybe don't anymore. Like we probably did 30, 40 years ago, but I think now there's a lot less of that. Like men are questioning authority and like traditions a lot more. And that might be playing into some of this.
Since the JFK murder, yeah.
What?
Well, and they were starting to get into an interesting point there too about friendships, which we've done a full episode on. If you want to check that out, it's right here. Go ahead, check out that episode on friendship recession. But they were talking about percentages there about men having no friends and how that could be correlated as well. So I don't know. Are they going to go further into that, or do you have any thoughts on it?
I mean, we've kind of beat that drum for a while, and I do think it's a massive problem, and part of why, like this just goes into something that a lot of successful people say, but like when you become the most successful person in the room, it's time to find a new room.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have a room, period, I think that's a big problem. And like room, we're talking about like your friend group. Right? So you got no friends, then you don't really have anybody to kind of inspire or motivate or anything like that. You're just isolated and alone. And that's, God, if you're young, that's hard. That'd be my only thought. Okay. Let's go.
But while COVID may have made many men drift apart, including Daniel, something else is going on here. COVID didn't cause every man to start falling behind, and also not in the same way. In the US, the percentage of men living at home between the ages of 25 and 34 has virtually doubled since the 1980s. So what gives? Well, rising house prices are an obvious factor in the West, so there's less shame in living in a generational household, but it goes deeper. Regardless of affiliation, the broader consensus over the last 3 to 5 years appears to be that traditionally male-dominated industries like manufacturing are shrinking, while service industries are reaching all-time highs around the world. And those sectors are the ones that men aren't conventionally trained to excel in. Just the statistical reality puts young men at a disadvantage, and that's not all. Traditionally male-dominated fields are more commonly accepting of women. Ultimately, that's a good thing, but it does provide extra competition for men.
And women looking for a job or even a career are discovering there is a whole new world out there.
As it turns out, roles traditionally filled by men now being offered to women. Here's 3 on Your Side's Gary Harper.
This iron worker has made a successful career for herself.
I love physical work.
You may find Adrienne Donato 30 feet above the ground, welding and using a handheld jackhammer. Yeah. She even worked for the same company through 2 pregnancies.
Should she be jackhammering when she's pregnant?
Iron workers are just one of many fields now trying to recruit women. The industry just announced the new paid maternity benefits.
They're going to make good money, but they're going to have great benefits to go along with it. So they'll have that health insurance and a pension plan.
In the world of dating, things are changing for young men too. When it comes,
we'll leave in the world of dating thing. So the work thing, obviously this is something we've seen. We know people who work in the trades, work in the blue collar. I don't have a problem with it, to be honest. I think more competition is better than less. I got no problem with women jumping into male dominated fields.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I do, however, find it interesting that, like, I'd be curious to see what's the most dangerous jobs, and are they jumping into those?
Army.
Infantry.
Navy.
Let's pop over to Google and just have it look-see. World's best cat litter. Dangerous jobs. Ranked. Okay, construction work. Really? That can't be that dangerous. Firefighter. I know female firefighters. Pilots. No female pilots. I guess waste collector. These don't seem like the most dangerous. Fishing and hunting. Okay, I know fishing for sure. It's one of the most dangerous. Fishing and hunting.
Oh, like fishing,
logging,
like big fish. Like
like big
tuna and stuff.
Yeah, wrestling a big ass tuna in the ocean. Structural iron and steel workers. That's what they just mentioned in the video. Do they have? According to OSHA, so OSHA's not a good. Speaking of problems with COVID, OSHA. Dangerous jobs. Hauling, flight engineers, mining. Okay. All right, agriculture. 10 most dangerous jobs in the world. Let's just use this one. What are they? Logging, fishing, oil, gas, and mining. So like oil workers.
Yeah. Have you ever seen them like doing up the pipes with the chains and all that on like an oil rig?
Oh, yeah.
That looks like, I don't know, terrifying to me.
So on an oil rig, they have underwater welders.
Yep. My nephew does that.
It's an underwater welder. I think that's one of the most dangerous jobs.
Not like the scuba diving down, but he welds the rigs and the boats like from the inside.
That's okay. So he's. I mean, that's a stupid question. Can they be? Yeah, of course they can be. Underwater welder is paid $43 an hour. You're not getting me into there for that.
That's not enough. Holy.
Only 5% of welders in the women are U.S. or in the U.S. Yeah.
In the U.S. are women dyslexic?
Yeah. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, right. Underwater welding is currently a male-dominated field with data indicating 100% male representation.
100%. Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
The overall general welding. This is what I'm referring to. Like, underwater welding is one of the most deadly jobs you can have because you're welding underwater. And it's 100%. I mean, I'm sure they're just rounding up. I'm sure there's women in the field. But I do find it interesting that they're staying away from that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't do it either.
Yeah.
I'm just, it's an interesting data point. Not making any further comment on it. I just find it to be fascinating.
You're very womanly, so that makes sense. There was kind of a interesting point there, though, when they were talking about men, how when they're moving more into like the service roles and the administrative roles and, you know, stuff like we do where we're sitting on a computer and sending emails and whatever else.
Fake email jobs.
That it's leading to like more, I don't know, depression and things like that. Like, or at least I think it is. Because we're moving away from those more traditional jobs, working with our hands, producing something, creating. So, it's kind of a neat point.
Yes, it's not ideal, to say the least. Mm-hmm. That, for most men, if you are somebody who likes to get out and get after it, sitting at a desk job, talking on a phone is not awesome. I've done it for a long time. I'd much rather be, digging a hole or some shit, putting grass in or, doing something with my hands. But they don't pay the bills as well.
When it comes to dating, for many Gen Z men, they can practically kiss that goodbye. In the US, for example, during the 1970s and 80s, the percentage of men who weren't married by age 40 were in the single digits. But by 2021, that had ballooned to 28%. As young men struggle to excel in life, they tend to appear less attractive to a lot of women. Word on the street is that young women just can't find a good man anymore, so many quit dating altogether. But the culture has also shifted. According to the Washington Post, The Me Too movement of the mid-2010s caused men to be reluctant to approach women in real life for fear of being perceived as a threat.
We're going to talk about the consistent phenomenon of men not approaching women when they're out, when they're at the coffee place, when they're at the workplace. It's, I guess, just a plague upon society that is impacting young women right now who want to be approached and who want a little bit of attention to be paid to them. In the age group of 18 to 25, for young men, around 50% of them say they have never approached a woman, not once, not ever. Now, when asked why they can't find this drive to do so, most of them are expressing that they don't want to be seen as a creep or be accused of sexual harassment in the wake of this whole Me Too movement thing that's happened.
That being said, I've heard and seen a lot of stories about how young men behave out there, and they're really not helping themselves.
I've only gone from like the boy meets girl to like hell level destruction. This guy at the gas station comes up to me. He is smoking a cigarette, blows the smoke in my face and says, "I really want to hang out with you tonight." I said, "Oh."
So like most things, there's two sides to this. Reduced own.
All right. Corey, can you apologize to that girl for doing that to her?
Yeah. Yeah. That was back when I still smoked.
Corey invented that move, actually. Blowing smoke in the girl's face and saying he wants to hang out with. That's weird. That is bizarre behavior.
Yeah.
To go to the point, though, of the amount of men who have never approached a woman because of fear that they are going to appear creepy or, what have you. I think what only really men might understand is that we internalize a shitload of stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's the way men are wired. Like, we just do not talk about what we feel, and we do not like to project outwardly what we are feeling. So we just internalize it all. And I wonder, I'm obviously not a male between the ages of 18 and 25, but I wonder if a lot of these guys are just internalizing all these feelings, and they're just like, yeah, no, I'm just not, it's not in the cards for me. I'm not going to even try with women because of that or whatever reason they might have.
Yeah, we're simple. We're a simple creature, honestly. Like the more I get into this life, meaning the older I get, the more I realize how simple we are. And like when they're putting complicated things out, like, oh, this is how you need to approach someone, and this is how you need to say it, and you can't say this, and you can't say that, and you might be misgendering, and just all these things that we have to internalize now. Men often just go, I'm good.
Not worth it.
It's not worth it. It's not worth the hassle, right? Whereas there was a time when it was much easier. You approach someone, they say yes or no or whatever, and like, you didn't have to worry about all those little minutiae, like the little details of what you could potentially be doing wrong, or like the fear of harassment and all this stuff. So I do kind of get this point. I would hate to be at a dating age.
Oh, God.
Like, I would hate to be that in this world today.
It was complicated when we were younger. Like, it was pretty complicated, but not like this. Not remotely really close.
Like,
well, you're a lot older. You're a lot older than me.
Fuck off.
Well, I mean, I'm being silly, but you. When you and I started hanging out, when we met each other, you were 25.
Yeah.
I was 20. You were in a long-term relationship at that point with the girl who eventually became your wife.
Mm-hmm.
So how long ago would you have last dated or been in the dating scene? How many years ago?
Probably, like 20, well, prior to meeting her. So 23 years ago.
23 years ago. Okay, so early 2000s. I think there was a huge difference between the early 2000s and even the mid, I guess, like, I don't even know what you call it, but like 2007-ish is when a lot of stuff like really started to change, because that was when online dating started to become more of a thing. 2008, 2009, it kind of got popularized, and it was a big shift in dating for sure. Also, like, social media came in around that time, the Facebooks, eventually, the Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff. but dating completely changed around that time. And I was single in that period between like 2008 and 2000 and, well, you know, some of those years. And dating was weird then, but I think it's even more so. Like I was not single when Tinder came out, for example. And I think that further added to it. I'm sure they're going to get into this in the video, but like I think pushing a lot of this stuff online too has really just messed with the dynamic. Because now Gen Z or whatever they're called, they're not capable of doing what you and I are doing, like talking, actually opening their mouth and saying words to other people.
Yeah.
And I think they're probably going to get to that, but I think that's a big part of it.
And I think like we've also gotten into this. We've gotten into this where you have to announce everything that you are too, like the pronouns and all these things. Like I'm watching my teenage son kind of go through it now, where he's like, it's like, well, I'm even like, are you into guys? Are you into girls? Like you start wondering all this stuff, right? And he told us the other day that he's like, I'm into girls. Like we didn't really ask. He said it was almost like a don't worry. Like I'm into girls and that's the gender I prefer. But it's just weird that that's even got to be like a thing you need to announce. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, we didn't announce that.
No.
Back in the day. Although, I mean, if you announced that you were gay, it would have been horrible for you. Like at the time, that's just the world that we lived in.
Yeah. Like I think there's, it was too far the other way back then, and now it's like too far this way. Like there's an in between there where, I don't know, some things can remain private.
Yeah,
that's my thought. But
we've gone to a world where nothing's really private. It's kind of interesting because like we had when we went to film school, we had a friend who was gay, and it was not, he didn't make like some big announcement about it. Just kind of like when he got comfortable with us was like, oh, by the way, I'm gay. And we're like, yeah, I know, dude. I'm well aware. Yeah, thank you.
It's so obvious.
Yeah. Yes, kind of. But yeah, there wasn't like it wasn't a big announcement. Like I'm so-and-so and I'm this, or I'm so-and-so and I'm that. I don't know. It does seem, and I'm sure it's weird to be like just a regular dude and you don't really have anything to announce. Like that's got to be a weird. Like just think back to us. Like I had nothing to announce back then.
Nope.
I'm just Josh, you know.
Yeah.
Just Josh. I like beer, and I like hockey. That was basically what I would have had to announce. That was like that was how complicated of a person I was back then.
Okay.
Continuing on.
To dating apps, men tried their luck for companionship there. Unfortunately, it's been a rough game. Each woman would receive thousands of matches, while it's not unusual for a man to be swiping for days and not receive anything. As for the last layer in a sandwich of bad misfortune, there's also a forming political polarization between the genders. Gen Z men are swinging conservative, while Gen Z women are more liberal. The end result is a silent gender conflict among young people, and more young men end up being single than ever before.
Out of nowhere, this beautiful beam of light shined towards me. It was huge.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I think the dating app thing is very strange too, because like even just that instant, like I need to match with someone is very strange to me, because like that was part of the fun, is dating someone, finding out who they are. Like people are going into these dates knowing a lot about someone prior to even meeting them, right?
Yeah.
Or at least knowing what they've written up, or knowing what they've gotten ChatGPT to write up at this point.
Yeah.
Right?
Who am I, ChatGPT?
Yeah. Who am I? What should I put on my dating app, ChatGPT?
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's so strange to have that, like that knowledge, that foreknowledge of someone that you're going to go and like meet and date. Like It's just so strange to have that choice. No, yes, no, no, no. Yeah. Like, what if you swiped away someone that should have been a yes, you know, just based on like they wrote their profile wrong, you know, or they took a bad picture.
My wife did that with my first online dating profile because we met online, and the first
shit.
profile
Here I am ripping it up.
Well, I mean, no, she skipped over my profile. My profile was strictly like, God, I wish I could read it, but it was like just all jokes, like just me being ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
she saw your nose, swiped away.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah, but it was a ton of jokes. It really was. It was like, I like candlelit TV dinners and short walks to the liquor store. Like, that was the kind of shit that was in it. And she just was like, read it and was just like, no thanks, and like moved to the next one. And then like a couple weeks later, I was like, because I'd gone on a lot of dates, and they were just like, I was like, this is not attracting the right kind of ladies. And I changed it. I like made it more just who I am. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff in there about my life and my father and my, you know, losing him and what it taught me and all these things. And then like she really connected with that. And, you know, we started talking. And it wasn't until like maybe our third or fourth date that I was like, oh man, you know what my profile was? And I told her about my previous one. She's like, I read that. She's like, I hated it. It was like, of course you would have hated it.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. But no, it's kind of funny the way that goes. The political part that was in there. I think that, you know, there's this expression. Some people interchange it, but some people say like culture's downstream from politics. Other people say politics are downstream from culture. I think either way that you slice it, you're seeing what people's political opinions are. It's coming out in our culture, for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, men lean more right, women lean more left. I lean completely out of that, you know, whatever, that paradigm or whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't participate.
Yeah.
But I see people who do, and yeah, it tends to be like the women are more left, the men are more right. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah, and that never used to be a concern, really.
No.
Like when we were younger, you never asked someone what their political affiliation was. Like, hey, who'd you vote for? Like, who gives a shit? At, you know, when you were 25 or whatever. Like, I didn't care.
No, you didn't care, and I don't think people. Now. Yeah. Well, it's because it actually it as that matters more, as like things get bigger. You know what I mean by things. As that gets bigger, it matters more to people's everyday life. So yeah, if somebody has an opinion that's different than yours, it's probably not going to jive. Like you and them are not going to jive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's I think a big one. A big problem. I don't know how you fix that either. Well, actually I do, but I won't say. Hold on. Continuing on with the volume back up. I had to turn down for the commercials.
Right. And building families, there's still remarkably similar issues. As Richard Reeves puts it, quote, "The sense a lot of young men have is not being sure that they're needed or that they're going to be needed by their families, by their communities, by society," end quote. Both groups are now struggling more than ever to find a driving force, to find meaning. They are losing a sense of purpose. Around 2016, the dialogue around young men and a loss of sense of purpose started to gain traction. In the Western world, it was most famously expressed by the confusion in why figures like Jordan Peterson and Joe Rogan were suddenly popular among young men. A decade ago, these online personalities filled a hole which was routinely overlooked as a target audience, male role models for young men. Like it or not, the online spheres they created provided direction to young men who found themselves aimless in a rapidly changing world. The conversation took on a more academic flavour in 2022 when Richard Reeves published his findings in his book Of Boys and Men. It highlighted a disparity that he had to research to believe. At the same time, another author, Scott Galloway, started touring the country with a similar message. His emphasis, though, was on later education, employment, and dating as an adult. when on a podcast by Chris Williamson, the open statistics he shared were pretty revealing.
I have friends who have 2 daughters and a son, and I'm saying this metaphorically, but loosely speaking, the daughters at Penn, the younger daughters working at a PR firm in Chicago, and the son is in their basement vaping and playing video games. Young men, 7 to 10 high school valedictorians are girls. For every 1 male college graduate over the next 5 years, there's going to be 2 female college graduates. 93% of mass shooters are men, 3 times more likely to overdose, 4 times more likely to commit suicide, 12 more times more likely to be incarcerated. They do worse in single-parent households. For some reason, girls have the same outcomes in a dual-parent household versus a single. We have more single-parent households. Our education system is biased against men. Men on a behavior-adjusted or boys on a behavior-adjusted basis are twice as likely to get suspended for the same infraction as a girl. 2/3 to 80% of all primary and secondary teachers are women, and understandably, they're going to champion little girls who they see themselves in.
All right. I know you have to go soon, so we'll talk about that.
Yeah, that's a
so
lot.
before people freak out about like, oh, this is like some like Scott Galloway statistics or like what he's saying, like that he's some misogynist or what have you. That dude is a, like, for lack of a better term, he is a hardcore lefty, like very much a establishment Democrat liberal type. He is not some like right wing figure the way Jordan Peterson is, because they bring up Jordan Peterson in the video too. So get that out of the way with Scott Galloway. That being said, the data that he brings, I remember when this episode came out and looking back on it and being like, wow, his data is pretty close to being what it actually was. Like, you know, it's jarring when you actually read it or you hear it out loud. You're like, holy shit, that's wild. I didn't think the figures would look like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot to take in. Like we've definitely talked about a lot of those different stats in different episodes, but to hear it all like laid out just in that one piece, it's like it's a lot. It's heavy.
It is very much so. I don't really find any of it surprising though.
No. And once again, he's talking about this one family where the 2 girls are successful, but the boy is sitting in the basement vaping and playing video games. I mean, I see that.
Yeah, me too.
Right? Like I see a lot, even in my kids, like I have to keep reminding them that they've got to get off video games because it's very addictive and they get stuck doing it. We just ran into an issue where one of my kids just found out he wasn't doing his homework, wasn't like, paying attention in school and all this stuff. And like, he's a very, very intelligent kid, getting bad marks. And like, really the one thing that we can link it to is that he's addicted to tech. He's addicted to video games.
Yeah.
And so he's off them right now. Which is always, it's tricky because it's like a punishment, right? But at the same time, and I also don't particularly think that they're learning anything worth learning in school. But what I did come out with was the one thing that he can learn from that is the organization skills, the getting things done on time. Those things do become very important when you're older, whether you own a business or whether you work for a business, is that like prioritizing, scheduling, due dates, all of that. I think that's actually arguably more important than the science that he's learning or the math that he's learning. So
yeah, and I would say one of the things that's like the biggest skill that I ever took away from school was just grinding through things that I thought were boring and useless.
Yeah.
But being able to grind through things you don't like is a task that will help you form grit. Mm-hmm. So if you can do it, that's where you get grit from.
Yeah.
So I think that's important too.
But to the point of where men are heading, I really do think there's a bit of a hopelessness with them where they're like, what's the point of dating? What's the point of doing well in school? What's the point of this? What's the point of that? If I'm going to be just statistically, we're seeing it. There's just all these failures. So it's like, I almost don't blame them when they're coming up to be like, well, if I'm going to fail anyways, what's the point in trying?
Yeah, I definitely felt that when I was young, this hopelessness around certain things.
Yeah. So take the hopelessness you felt, right, and then amplify it.
Yeah,
right, and that's where we're at.
Magnitudes. Yeah.
We're magnitudes more than where you were at with your hopelessness, I would assume. But
yes. Yeah, I was fortunate that, you know, I did have friends at the time, and I had certain personality traits that would allow me to go meet people and make friends and stuff like that. I wasn't isolated because I was addicted to video games or, you know, just by myself because of something like COVID. I just didn't have to live through that in the same way that these young kids did.
Yeah. And the video games weren't as addictive. They had an end to them. Like, there's no end to the video games now.
No.
Like, they just continue and continue and continue and go through. And, like, it's an endless world that they're in now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Maybe we should wrap on this and we can do it as a two-parter.
Okay.
Well, we're gonna stop it there, and we are gonna come back with another episode where we watch the rest of this video. So I hope you enjoyed. If you do, like and subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you can catch us on the next one.
Thank you very much. Well, thanks again for tuning in to Second Story. Flip the script, write your sequel. See you on the next one.